Good afternoon. Welcome back to SIGA's Female Leadership in Sport Web Summit. It is day 1 of 3. Happy International Women's Day. Remember, you can use the hashtag SIGA Women via Twitter to basically give us a shout out. What I want from you is someone that's inspired you. Maybe they've helped your career in the field of sport. Who are they? Why are they an empowering and inspiring female leader? Tell us and we'll read some out throughout the course of the week. You can also just give us a celebrity name as well. We've had Billie Jean King, Serena Williams and so on, but pick out an inspiring role model and tell us why they're important to you. Please use that hashtag SIGA Women, and also stand with SIGA throughout the course of the conference. Engage with us on the website and the app as well. You can donate to our cause. Just click on the button through the app and make a donation, even if it's just the price of a cup of coffee or a beer. I know some of you will be cracking out a little evening beer to celebrate International Women's Day. So why not give us £4 or £5 or dollars, and we'll put that directly towards various programs, including mentorship of young female leaders. Right, let's move on to our third live webinar of 4. This one should be really interesting. It's titled SIGA Women, the Power of Mentorship. Such an important topic that we have diversity of thought and role models that are representative of all in male and female sport, and we'll discuss this in the context of women in particular. And how do we mentor young talent? It's something that SIGA are really passionate about. We've got a highly representative and extremely well qualified panel. It's a warm welcome to Anna Blanchard, Senior Manager of Partnership Marketing at Major League Soccer. Alongside Anna, we welcome Michelle Chai, the Chief Operating Officer of the Olympic Council of Malaysia. It's also a very warm welcome to Dr. Debbie Alexander, a board member, World Triathlon Executive, the first Vice President of Africa Triathlon, and a board member of SASCOC as well. And Annette Knott is with us as well. She is the Secretary General of the Trinidad and Tobago National Olympic Committee and also the Women in Sport Commission Chair of CANOC. And the moderator is one freelance journalist out there in the business. I've worked with her on a number of these conferences, so I know that we're in for an engaging, honest and authentic debate. It is a very good afternoon to Natasha Henry.
Hey Ben, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, happy International Women's Day 2021. I'm so excited to be moderating this panel on the importance of mentorship. As a female in sport, I understand how important, how encouraging it can be to see those who are the trailblazers, who can advise us, who can educate us, and who can help us to make people like me feel that we can go out there and do the job. But I'm not going to talk loads. I'm going to introduce you to our panel. We have the wonderful Dr. Debbie Alexander, apologies. We have Annette Knott. We have Anna Blanchard, and we have Michelle Chai. I'm going to pass you over to them and let them introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about you. Dr. Debbie, if you could start for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world, and happy International Women's Day. So I'm a wife, a mother, grandmother, clinical psychologist, academic, and a sports leader. And I volunteered and served in leadership roles at various levels in sport for close to 20 years. My leadership journey started in triathlon, and I progressed from club to provincial and national leadership to being the National Federation President of Triathlon South Africa. And today I'm the first Vice President of World Triathlon. Also, as you've heard, I have a VP position in Africa Triathlon in SASCOC, and I also serve on the governing board of the International Paralympic Committee. So how did I get there? It took hard work, courage, perseverance, and really getting out of my comfort zone. But I can tell you that it would never have happened if it wasn't for the belief of other men and women in me and my ability. So at each stage of my journey, I was dropped in the deep end, first by a group of mothers who wanted to kickstart triathlon in the province that I lived in, and they begged me to be the spokesperson, and that became my baby. And so now you've just heard my journey through triathlon. And then as I moved up the ranks, it was by Gideon Sam, a prominent sports person in South Africa, and then also Marisol Casado, who's the president of World Triathlon and an IOC member. So all of those people have had a role in my getting to where I am today. And it hasn't been easy, but I must admit that I wouldn't change a thing. It's been an absolutely rewarding experience, and I've loved every minute of it.
I love that. Great start. Annette, if we can come to you and find out a bit more about you, what you do and how you got here.
Okay, so good afternoon from us from the Caribbean, and for others it may be evening time, ready for a glass of wine to celebrate International Women's Day. So have one on me, a little bit too early for me, but I'm sure you can have one on me. And thank you to SIGA for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak about our mentorship. I think mentorship has become a new buzzword, and everybody's talking mentorship. But women have been we're leading the way. We've been mentoring from day one because that's who we are. We are counseling all the time. We're being considerate. We have that quality of empathy. So when we think that, we're talking mentorship, that must be some kind of new word for the men. For us, it's been natural. We've done it all our lives. And so therefore, mentorship, yes, that's something that comes natural to us. And here in the Caribbean, we often are branded as being a matriarchal society. So we have been, for many of our young women, they see the women in roles, perhaps in sport, not in the leadership roles that we would like to see. We obviously feel that in areas like coaching, where there definitely are not enough women, and so we need to see some more women in coaching and therefore mentorship in that field. My role in the Caribbean is as the chair of the Women in Sports Commission, also on Pan Am Sports, Women in Sports Commission. But these opportunities and arriving here, it's just been because of just naturally wanting to help, wanting to do, and not necessarily specifically pinpointing and saying that I am going to be doing this. You just fall into these roles naturally sometimes. And I think that for all our women in the Caribbean, we are perhaps not always given the opportunity to lead. And so therefore, we need to see more visibility. We need to see more of our women who are already many in global positions, but just perhaps haven't been acknowledged or noticed, because it is very important to be visible. Because if you can't see it, you can't be it. So I'm looking forward to all the discussions, and thank you once again for having me.
Couldn't agree more with that. Anna, if you'd like to intro yourself for our audience.
Of course. Good afternoon to everyone in the US, and good morning, good evening, like everyone said. I have worked for the past 12 years or so in sport and entertainment in various roles at ESPN and WWE, Octagon Sports Marketing, and Disney. I currently work at Major League Soccer, and in my role, I manage a sponsorship portfolio across not only Major League Soccer, but also the US Soccer Federation, so our national teams here, the Mexican national team, and CONCACAF. And from a personal perspective, I'm Carioca. I was born and raised in Brazil, so love of sport and soccer is in my blood, and I'm happy and feel very lucky to work in this field. From a mentorship perspective, I think for this experience with SIGA, what's been incredible for me personally is it's really expanded my view of women in sport as a whole. Even just looking around, this room of panelists, you have women who work across so many different aspects of the sport industry in so many different countries with different challenges and perspectives. And it's been really invaluable for me to hear not only from other mentees, but mentors, and exchange advice and experiences. And I've really enjoyed that. So I highly recommend the program for anyone watching who's interested in participating.
And last, but definitely not least, we have Michelle Chai.
Hi, everyone. Very good early morning from Malaysia, and happy International Women's Day 2021. I spent over 20 years now in the sports industry, with the majority of it in football. mainly at the Asian Football Confederation, where I helped to grow the football in Asia. I later went on to the United Arab Emirates to help them set up their UAE Professional League. And about 3-4 years ago, came back to Malaysia, where my home is, and where I'm currently the Chief Operating Officer at the Olympic Council of Malaysia. So yeah, just a very brief background.
So we all believe in the power of mentorship. I think that's something that's very clear from everything you've said. And you're all, why, I'll start with you, Dr. Debbie. Why in particular did you feel it was important for you to, what I describe as pay it forward and become someone that can nurture and mentor someone else that's coming up in the industry?
For me, it's important because I feel growing up and even getting into sport, although I was pushed by others to do things, I was thrown in the deep end. So I didn't have someone who could guide me. And I felt that having learned the hard way, I had a great deal of knowledge and experience to share of how one can do things and perhaps how one shouldn't be doing things. I also believe that as a clinical psychologist, I have a lot to offer, and especially when we're speaking about the power of mentorship, because for me, the power lies in the relationship, and I believe that I have that experience that I can share, because in that power, for me, it's about attunement. So in other words, how we engage with someone, how we interact, how we connect with someone. It's about authenticity, about being real with the person so that we can build trust. It's about our attitude to the relationship. In other words, an attitude of kindness, curiosity, openness. And then it's about acceptance. So for me, acceptance is around accepting that this relationship will have positive aspects to it and negative aspects. There will be strengths and weaknesses that come out of this. And yes, the mentee might gain, but I might also fail the mentee at some point by maybe something that I say or don't say. But part of the failure is important because then we learn and grow through actually failing. So I believe that through that kind of relationship and what I have to offer, I can give anyone wanting to grow and develop the space to do so by holding them in a kind, compassionate, non-judgmental way and guiding and sharing knowledge and experience.
I love the honesty of that. Annette and Michelle in particular, coming from cultures where traditionally women are not at the forefront of sport or definitely in the decision-making positions, I would say for you first, Annette, why was it so important for you to become a mentor?
I think that, of course, I have to say with 40 years experience in sport, whether it's as an administrator, as an athlete, of course, and not for the 40 years, unfortunately, but definitely in the early days, and also as a coach, as one of the first female coaches in hockey. You know, the first thing the men said was, well, I can help you. And I thought, well, I don't need help. I'm doing quite well, thank you. But they always felt that they needed to help. And I felt that, you know, once you've walked the path, the others coming behind you should not have to have the same hurdles. You should be able to give them all the advice and knowledge on how to avoid these hurdles. I might have gone ahead maybe blindly, but now that I've paved the path, there's definitely no reason why those coming behind me need to do that. And so, especially in sports admin and getting to the leadership roles, etc., I really feel it's important to be out there. And as I said, one of the things is I really feel it's important to be visible as a Caribbean woman, so that people can say, yes, I can see Annette doing it, and yes, I can do it. So I think that part has been very important for me. And definitely joining the Global Mentorship Program, where you have so many experiences, the diversity is quite amazing, the number of people coming from all different sports. But our young people must say, well, yeah, I can do that too. So as I said, it's been my years of experience in sport that I feel is important to give back.
Michelle, is that something you can relate to, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that actually in Asia, the Asian Football Confederation was actually one of the first football organization that promoted women. I think despite the cultural nuances usually associated with Asia, the AFC, I think, had about 50% of women in its management, and was the first to introduce quota in its executive committee. Of course, we can have another, set of discussion about whether we should have quota or not. And in my two former bosses, they were wonderful mentors to me, which is why I felt when SIGA approached me to become one of the mentor, I felt that, I could contribute to the program and to future young leaders from my own experience. I could see how my two former bosses had their hand in guiding me, sharing their experiences with me. One would be in a more formal approach where we would have a weekly chat, but the other was also through leadership through example, being a role model himself. And of course, I think what is important, as Dr. Debbie said, to introduce me to also different people in terms of the creation of different relationship and networking opportunities, which I believe in sports is really, really very important.
I mean, I feel there's a common theme. I know myself, I had a mentor, and now I find that very important to then do that for someone else. Sorry, Anna, is that something that has been part of your decision to become someone that is guiding someone that's up and coming in the industry?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've found that as you progress in your career, I think it's really easy to forget the journey to get there, all the nuances, how little you really knew when you started, what it took to build that knowledge base that you have. So I think making sure you're paying it forward in any way you can is not only important just from a pay it forward aspect, but it helps you stay in touch with your own journey and appreciate how far you've come, and then translate that gratitude into support for someone else. As many have mentioned already, we've all faced different challenges, and there's no reason that others should have to experience it the same way we did. So really making sure you're translating that into help for others makes it all a more rewarding journey.
So barriers is actually the barriers of women being women in any kind of sporting role outside of performance, because they love us there, but they don't always love us elsewhere. So what barriers have you experienced, or what barriers do you feel we still need to work at changing? If I come to you first, Anna, because I know America's a very different kind of sporting environment to England. So I'm really curious to hear your answer on this.
I would say it's not always been a popular answer to this question, but I've experienced women not supporting other women as a very big barrier for me. For whatever reason, I think, when I started out, it was harder for a lot of women to get into, it's gotten easier, but we're obviously not where we should be yet. But, and maybe they felt for whatever reason, they needed to hold on to that spot and behave in a certain way. And it took me some time to recognize that, and to just I can't change what other people are doing and the ways that they're doing that to me, but I can change how I do it to others, and really make sure I'm not part of that problem of creating other barriers and difficulties for other women. I think there's not only room for all of us, but it will be a better world and working environment when we make more room.
Dr. Debbie, I saw you nodding heavily when Anna made that point. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
Yes. First of all, when we're talking about barriers, we can be a barrier ourselves. So I think we need to keep that in mind, because we don't think we can do things, or we can't step up. And I guess, and that's what I said about my own journey, was that if others hadn't said, you can do this, or we want you, or you must, or I might not have. So I think, again, to recognize that in others and give them the opportunity like I was given. But then the women who don't support other women, oh my goodness. So I haven't had this experience in sport, but I certainly had it in academia, and my supervisor along the way. This person was so unkind, so unsupportive, not holding, harsh. It was just too terrible for words. It was actually quite a destructive process, and it was very, very hard for me to manage that. So I'm very mindful of when I engage with mentees or in the academic environment when I'm supervising students, to just be mindful of where they are at and allow them to grow at their own space and to listen, because we don't listen enough. We talk too much and we don't listen and observe enough. So yes, I've had that experience.
I mean, without, breaking any privacy rules, you talk about listening and learning. Is there anything any of you guys have learned from your mentee, or have they shown you anything that maybe you weren't aware of? Michelle, if I come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think with my mentee, one of the things which I learned by interacting with her was also to see that I think if you create an environment where you kind of put the mentee in the deeper end of the pool, but not so deep that she would, let me say, sink. So like Dr. Debbie said, to be aware of where your mentee is. And I think what I've learned is that when you create that environment, you would often be surprised to see how your mentee is able to grow and to push herself and to grow when she feels that the environment is safe enough to open up, because the environment that is being created is safe enough for her to do so. So yeah.
Annette, I'd love to come to you on this one. How important do you think it is that SIGA obviously have made this active commitment to increasing diversity of women within sport, and they're not just saying it in a press release or a snapshot, they're actively creating a system where people feel welcomed and comfortable. How important do you feel it is for other organizations to ensure that we can create these relationships and we can bring in the next generation? Oh, can't hear
you. What I can say is it is so important, and I keep harping on what you have to see it to believe it, because what has happened in the past is that, and I mean, there's no, everybody knows now that we're talking more about Black Lives Matter, etc. But you can imagine for someone trying to make it out there globally, not just being a woman, but a Black woman, you have a double whammy. And so therefore, having this opportunity through SIGA, and I have to say that once somebody leads the way, that obviously there will be others that will follow, but we have to keep pushing that barrier all the time. We have to be talking about, yes, we are capable, we can do the job, we're no different than anybody else, and so diversity for every organization must not just be token. We tick the box, we've got that covered, just like it is with gender. And for years gone by, we were talking the 30%, etc., and we tick the box and, oh great, we've got the 30%, but let them stay. It was equality and not equity. And I guess it comes the same all the way through. So when we're talking, we go from gender to racism, etc. It's always about equity. But if you see people breaking those barriers and having the confidence, and so we talked about mentees, I think one of the things is just giving them that confidence to know that they can move forward. I think I was fortunate enough to as Debbie said, somebody said to you, come on, Annette, of course you can do that. And then you got that confidence, and that confidence takes you through. But definitely it's other organizations definitely need to look at it, and hats off to SIGA for leading the way.
So Anna, I started my career in football much like you are now, and as we know, it's a very male environment, from the top to the bottom. Is there any changes that you think that need to be made to encourage the next generation of young female leaders, young female who want to work in sports? What needs to be done for them to make them feel like they even have an opportunity of getting these roles or taking these jobs?
It's a great question. I think I can speak from my experience that when I started in sport, and this won't be the experience that everyone has had, but I noticed women who had been successful in the industry had chosen to not have a family, or they didn't have children. And it stood out to me at the time because it made me think I couldn't do that and be in sport, that I had to choose if I wanted to, just focus on my career and be in sport, and, it would be difficult, but that would be my focus, or if I could do more. And I think since then I've seen it change, where I've seen more women talk about balancing those different aspects of their lives. And, it's very challenging. I have a child now myself, and it's challenging to balance, but I think talking about it can help, whether or not, girls entering the industry think that they want that or don't want that in their life, to just let them know that it's an option, that you can do different things and still work in sport. I think changing that conversation has been important to me.
Michelle, I don't know. Oh, sorry, Dr. Debbie, did you want to say something?
Yes, I was wanting to comment on that, and being a woman in an environment with all men, and I had that experience, in a sort of in my journey in triathlon, it was mostly men at the leadership, and they really didn't like the fact that I was the president. So it was a long, hard journey. But I think what made the difference was skill, knowledge, the expertise, the persistence, and really just sticking to one's guns. And what I found over the years in my relationship, and I had a vice president or secretary general at the time who was a male and very different from me. And in the beginning, it was hard because we were so different, and I would talk a lot, and this person from a legal background, so they were straight down the line. But what I found over the years, that person actually became more like me, and I became more like that person. So we'd actually kind of found our way in this relationship over the years for the good of the organization and the athletes. So it was very fascinating to watch. So I want to say to women, just go for it. You can do this, and you will change the environment.
I mean, as much as we're all talking about sport and working in sport, mentorship doesn't have, your mentor doesn't need to have a job in that industry. Mm-hmm. Have any of you had a mentor, whether that's a family member or from a different career path? I don't know, Michelle, has there been anyone in your life outside of your professional experience who's maybe been someone that's, given you that belief that you can go on and do it?
I mean, either fortunately or unfortunately, most of it have been within the industry. However, I do think that, in our daily life, I think we are always, either mentoring someone or, being a mentee, looking up to different people. And I think, I mean, I do echo when Annette was saying earlier about how mentorship is not a new word to women. Because I think women have this innate quality in them that we are actually always mentoring each day, whether it's to your child or, but, with another sibling. So yeah, I think in everyday, life, I think either we are a mentor to someone or, or a mentee looking up to someone else. Perhaps in not in a formal environment like what the SIGA program is offering, but yeah.
So we're going to go to another part of our session. We still have quite a bit of time left, but anyone watching, please send a question in for our wonderful panelists. We have Annette Knott, we have Dr. Debbie Alexander, Michelle Chai, and Anna Blanchard. So if you want to send a question in, ask their advice, get some tips, get some guidance, we'd love to hear it. You can also join the conversation on Twitter, and it's hashtag SIGA Women. So I have my first question from our audience, which is from, apologies if I ruin the pronunciation of your name, Lynetta Luama Edward, which she's the sports director at the Special Olympics of Samoa, and she wants to mentor female leaders in her community. What are the steps she needs to consider and take? If I start with you, Annette.
Ooh, okay. I think that she's probably already doing it, and she probably doesn't even realize it. The fact that she's come now to actually think of it in a formal structure, really it's about conveying confidence, teaching leadership skills. It's about coaching. It's all those things that she, as I said, she's probably doing it anyway. Maybe bringing a group together and perhaps bringing somebody outside of the industry who's already in talking leadership, etc. That's always good to get another perspective. That might be a good way for her to start. We've got wonderful opportunities now with being online, with virtual. We can meet at any time, so you could do perhaps one-on-one. But I think in any relationship of mentor and mentee, it's very important to hear what the other is, what the expectations of the mentee will be. And so perhaps just some one-on-ones with some of her mentees as where they see the whole leadership role. Because it's always very easy when you've done it for so long to say this is the way it should be done. But you might find that there's a completely, their perspective, their expectations are different. But as I said, I'm sure she's already on that path and can use maybe some of those ideas. And I'm sure the others will have lots of tips as well.
Michelle, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think I would echo what Annette has said, and also what I've mentioned earlier about you're probably already doing it anyway. But I think one of the things I would like to emphasize, which also Dr. Debbie brought out earlier, is the skill of listening. I think to listen and to also, I think once you listen, you'll be able to maybe be in a situation where you are much better aware of the needs of those around you, and hence, where to maybe coach or maybe where to guide a person towards. Because I think mentorship is all about the mentee. It's not so much, what the mentor wants to do, but to be aware of what your mentee wants to achieve, and yeah.
I mean, that actually brings me on to the next question from the floor, which is from Marsha Boyce. She's a comms consultant from the Caribbean Regional Anti-Doping Agency. So I'll ask Anna this one first. What realistic expectations should a mentee have from their mentor?
That's a good question. I think I would take it a step back first and have them really think about what their objectives are from that experience, because everyone comes in with a different goal. Some people just want to advance their career. Some people want to network. With my mentee now, it's actually really neat because it's she has a lot of experience, so it's more of a two-way street, and we share experiences and give advice to each other. It's been really interesting in that way because it's I haven't experienced that before. So that's what I would say.
Dr. Debbie, would you like to add to that?
Yes, I guess it's a conversation that will be had with the mentor as to what the expectations are. And as Anna said, it will be different for everyone. But I guess what if I was a mentee, what I would want is, again, something that I've said before, someone who could listen, someone who could hold me in whichever space I was in, someone who was open and honest and whose opinion that I valued, someone who's open to a sort of diverse perspective, someone who's willing to share their knowledge and their skills, someone who's curious, someone who's willing to learn from me as the mentee as well, because both mentor and mentees have something to offer. So it's really that I would want the mentor to have a personal interest in me, in having building a relationship with me in which I could grow and develop.
I'm going to stay with Dr. Debbie for this next question, especially from the psychological perspective of it. So what are some of the key indicators that can be used to measure the effectiveness of a mentorship program or relationship?
Just say that again, the key
indicators. So I guess they're talking about to know that you're doing a good job, or that you're meeting the targets or benefiting both people in the relationship.
Yes, I guess you'll know that from the relationship with the person. So I have a very personal relationship with my mentee. So because it's a space where the person feels they can trust me to bring things that they might not be able to discuss elsewhere, so that I could give an objective opinion. It's a space where am I mirroring the person correctly? In other words, am I feeling, do they feel that they're seen or they're heard? And, that what we're discussing is real and substantial for them. So mirroring, am I a good example for the person? So it's, and I spoke earlier about that, about being authentic. So it's not what I say, but what I say and what I do must match each other. So not just feeling held, authentic. And again, can the person feel that they want to almost be like me? So am I setting that kind of standard for them? So for me, it's a discussion between me and the person. What are their expectations? How would they, and to get feedback from them. And I think if you have a trusting relationship, you will get that feedback. So what is it that you would want to work on? What are the things that are bothering you? And often I find their personal lives get in the way, or we all have blind spots that we're not able to see. And I guess, can the mentor assist me in that way? Because that might be what's getting in my way in moving up the ranks. So yes, I think those are the kind of points I would think that they would want to measure the relationship by.
I saw you nodding there, Annette, and it's for you personally as a mentor, how do you, when you look back on some of your relationships, how are you judging how beneficial you were to the person?
I think that I was nodding as well, because when Debbie was talking, I was just jotting, and the things were, well, of course, as Anna said, what are their objectives? What do they want to achieve? Because every situation might be slightly different. And then the next word I put down was trust. And of course, because the person has to relate to you, because they're going to share with you some very personal stuff. They're going to open up and say, what they really would love to achieve, without having the confidence necessarily to achieve it. So as a mentor, you would be coaxing them along and saying, where you could see their assets and perhaps where there might be some areas of weakness. And I think very importantly, and again, Debbie pointed it out, you have to have the common values, because when you're being the mentor, you're only giving of yourself as well. And so therefore, you have to be somebody, as I said, that the person relates to and understands that they have the same sort of core values as you have. And so therefore, with that, you have small benchmarks of what you would achieve, and then maybe the bigger picture. But it may not necessarily, you may start off as a mentor with a big picture and then some small goals in between. And you might find that along that way, the person changes because they realize that what they particularly had as an objective in the first place wasn't necessarily achievable, or perhaps that was not where their strength was. And so I think that it's just a dynamic, ongoing, changing relationship all the time. But trust, number one, and you really have, that person has to feel that they can really trust you.
I forgot to say, we need to thank Alawa Joko, the president of the Rock Rugby League Bonabera in Cameroon, for that question. That was a really, really good question. So Anna, I'm going to come to you next. And this is from Ruby Ann Kanguan from the Asia Committee member, she's from Conifer, sorry. And it's, how long should a mentor stroke mentee relationship be?
That's a tough one for me, just because I actually haven't had a lot of traditional mentors in my career. I've had what I would probably call a flash mentorships, where depending on the circumstance I was facing, I was able to tap into different women, especially in my industry, for advice or insights. And I think it's as long as it's beneficial to both of you, and you're really, like everyone has mentioned, listening and able to grow and share key information with each other, I think you keep going. Anyway, I don't have a really good answer, because I really haven't had a lot of formal structured mentorships.
No, that's still a great answer, because you're effectively saying that there shouldn't be a timescale on it. It should be about both people, you know, meeting their objectives, and the mentee leaving feeling like, you know, they've achieved what they need from you. Let's find another question. So
perhaps I could comment on that question. It could be one session. It could be many sessions. It could be a few months, and then it stops, and a few years later they call up and say, I'd like to pick your brain on something. So it's a fluid situation, and it's whatever works for the mentee.
That is so true. If I may just add a very quick story there, the reason I work where I do now is because of a very quick one-time mentorship conversation with Kathy Carter, who was the president of Major League Soccer at the time. And she participated in a panel where I worked at Octagon, and I reached out to her to just get insights into this world of, you know, football, soccer, and sport in the US. And I left that conversation really wanting to work in for this league, and as a result, down the line, was able to get in the door. So don't underestimate the power of that one-time mentorship as well.
So we're going to do the final question now, and I'm going to open it up to everyone. This is from Nuno Estevez, and he's from Sports and Entertainment Consultant from WEFC in Lisbon. So this is a very personal question for me, and it's, do you feel that a female mentor male mentee relationship would be beneficial to create more opportunities in the future for women? So as someone whose mentor is a man who has been for the past 15 years, I know the importance of that. I'd love to open it up to all of you and see your perspectives.
So I'm happy to go. I mentor many men, actually, probably more men than women. And I think it is hugely beneficial, because they get a different perspective. They hear a woman's voice to some of the conversations they bring. So it's actually interesting to see how they evolve over time in those conversations, and how they evolve in their relationships with women after having those conversations. Hugely beneficial.
Annette, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I think it's like everything else in life. Balance is something that we must all have, and balance not only just in what we do, but in our relationships. And we all benefit from relationships, both male and female. And I think that in terms of mentorship, there's no, as I said, some of it is informal, some of it is formal and structured. But the reality is that if we can build those relationships, then definitely with male and female, we do it, we've done it. Maybe the other way around, in some cultures may not be the normal thing, but I've as Debbie said, I've mentored so many young males, you know, that you saw it to yourself, you don't even count it, you don't even see it as that. You have an opportunity, they have something that they might have not been able to take to somebody else, and they look at you as a mother figure, and they come and discuss something, but it might have to do with something to related to sport, etc. But I think that it's balance. My take on this is it's balance, and the more we can get a balance of both views of both male and female, we must be better off at the end.
Michelle, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, from my own experience, I would echo Dr. Debbie's reply. And I think it's really very interesting when you have a female-male mentor-mentee relationship, because we have, I think, different ways of looking at things. And when these two views, when we exchange these two different point of views, I think it, often have changes both from the mentor as well as the mentee side. And I think for the future as well, I think if a male young leader would understand, then it would also be key for them to open more doors to other female young leaders.
Anna, I can see you nodding there in agreement.
Yeah, no, I think everyone has said it perfectly. Yeah.
I mean, this has been an amazing session. I feel like we needed a lot more than 45 minutes. We've got about a minute left. If you have a piece of advice that you would love to offer to our audience, or anyone who may be watching this past the point, I would love you to share it. So if we work around, I'll go Dr. Debbie, then Annette, then Anna, and then Michelle. If you could just give us, I don't know, a phrase, a saying, or something that you feel maybe something that someone else can take away from this.
I want to say to the audience that if you can, and you're in the position to, please put up your hand to be a SIGA mentor. It is the most rewarding thing you will do.
Annette?
I think it's very important that as senior, we've gone that path, trodden that path. It's very important for us to come behind and help support our young. We have a colleague from the IOC who's part of the Caribbean. Her name is Nicole Wordswitz, and she always says, send down the elevator. And so we say, and help them get in and get up there. And so that's what I'd like to see. Let us all help the ones coming behind us.
Anna?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think as someone who was very shy at the start of my career, I would say don't be afraid to ask for help, ask for advice. And then also I've become sort of an informal mentor in my organization just by being available, by telling everyone, if you have a question, call me. I'm not your direct manager, I'm not your mentor, but I'm here, I have some experience, and if I can help, I will. And I've seen a lot of people respond well to that because they don't really have that in another form. So I would say just tell others you're available, and you'll see people come to you more.
Michelle?
I would say be brave. So to those who are in the position to affect change, be brave to open your doors to the young generation. To the young ones, be brave. Like Anna said, don't be afraid to ask, and grab the opportunity when it comes with both hands.
What a beautiful note to leave on. Thank you for everyone watching. Thank you to a wonderful panel. And please continue the conversation on Twitter, #SIGAWomen.
Hey everyone, it's Karen Corr from the United States, currently working at Lakeshore Foundation as their Policy and Public Affairs Coordinator. I'm also currently a SIGA champion and on their SIGA Standing Committee on Gender, Race, Inclusion, and Diversity. What should sports organizations do to co-power girls and women in sport? Well, as a disabled woman in sport, my question is, what can sports organizations do to co-power disabled women and girls in sport? Well, the first thing that we can do is recognize that the inclusion and participation of women and girls with disabilities in sport is a global responsibility. The second thing that we can do is to provide women and girls with more opportunities for competitive and recreational sport. The third thing that we can do is involve women and girls with disabilities in all outreach programs. The fourth thing, showcase and have meaningful and impactful representation of disabled women and girls as successful athletes, successful coaches, successful role models, and successful leaders. And lastly, let us continue to include and prioritize disabled women and girls in governance and decision-making opportunities. Looking forward to expanding this conversation. Talk soon.
Hello, my name is Michelle Chai. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Olympic Council of Malaysia, and I'm also a mentor on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program.
Hello, my name is Maysab Saivis from Lebanon. I am a former Lebanese table tennis champion and currently a table tennis coach at SIGA University for physical education students, and I am a mentee on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program.
Throughout my 20 over years in sports, I've been fortunate enough to shadow some fantastic leaders, both male and female. Being able to have someone that I can always refer to not only gave me the confidence to chart my own path, but there was always someone available to be my sounding board and to nudge me in the right direction. Programs such as the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program is crucial in encouraging young leaders to explore and push their boundaries within a safe environment. I urge all sports organizations to replicate such programs and atmospheres within their organization.
For me, organizations must focus on community girls program at the grassroots level. It's providing coaching and mentoring programs like SIGA Women will result in women investing mental and physical knowledge in the world of sports. Coming from the Middle East, women face difficulties in sports. Women involvement in sports is ignored, as sports represents the risk of ethics, moral, and religious beliefs. The only future of changing the point of view of cultures and societies towards women representation and leadership in sports is time.
I'm really happy to be on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program with Mesa, who's an exceptional young female leader. I'm looking forward to sharing and exchanging my ideas with her.
Thank you, SIGA Women, for this excellent program and the opportunity to connect with Michelle. I am sure I will benefit from her experience.
Hello, my name is Sarah Soleiman-Ley. I work at FIFA in the governance department for the member associations of FIFA. I'm a SIGA mentor within the SIGA Global Women Mentorship Program, and today I'm with my mentee Taryn.
Hi everyone, I'm Taryn Horner, a mentee on the program and also the sport engagement lead at Newham College of Further Education in London. We welcome you to the Web Summit on Female Sport Leadership, and we hope that you enjoy the week with us.
Great. So, Taryn, what do you think should sport organizations do to empower girls in sport?
Thanks, Sarah. This is such an important topic of discussion, and I think that it's highly important that all sports organizations and foundations are inclusive towards women and girls, and specifically towards the youth, because that's where we can have the most developmental impact. So it's highly important that sports organizations consider women's needs separate to those of their male counterparts, and that they provide opportunities for women to be their best and reach their potential within sport and the development objectives.
Well, that was great, Taryn. Thanks a lot. And do not forget to follow SIGA.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the week with us and use the hashtag SIGAWomen. Like, share, and follow.
Hi, I'm Doris Colon, CEO of the U.S. Center for Safe Sport. I am so very excited to participate in SIGA's Summit on Female Leadership in Sport, especially this March during Women's History Month. SIGA has brought together an incredible group of professional athletes, advocates, and those who support sport together to really talk about some of the tough issues that each of us encounter. So I hope you will join us March 8th through 10th. I'll see you there.
Hello, my name is Marely Flores. I'm Women's Tournaments Manager at FIFA, and I am a mentor on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program. Welcome to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports. I think that this program is very helpful because we can give our mentees the opportunity and also the tools that will help them to lead in this industry.
Hello, my name is Carla Hernandez Valdez. I'm from Mexico City. I'm a sales planner at Under Armour, and I'm a mentee on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program. Welcome to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports. SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program gives me the opportunity to develop my leadership skills and grow my network. SIGA Women.
Hello, my name is Dr. Lindsay Sarah Krasnoff. I'm a historian and research associate with the Center for International Studies and Diplomacy at SOAS University of London, and I'm a mentor for the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program.
Hi, my name is Bethany Hushin, and I am a community manager at iSport Connect and also a part-time PhD student with the Institute of Sport Business at Loughborough University in London. And I am a mentee on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program.
Among the many things that sports organizations can do to empower girls in sports is to be authentic, be engaging, be inclusive, but importantly, to grant them the space and the opportunity to thrive and take ownership.
Mentorship programs like this one are really important, especially as a good way for people to learn off each other from different experiences, different knowledge, different backgrounds, and also to give a bit of an insight in terms of how people have faced challenges within working in sport and how we can face them, not just individually, but together.
We hope you enjoyed the summit.
#SIGA Women.
Hi, this is Vicky Conde, a former football player, coach, and now studying a master's in sports ethics and integrity, and I am a mentee in the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program. I think that sports organizations should have a plan not only to include girls and women, but also to empower girls and women through sports, and it should be in their agendas and one of their priorities so they can develop future leaders. I also think that in order to achieve this, we also need more women in the decision-making roles so we can create more diverse teams. And personally, learning from other women, not only in the context of sports, but also outside of sports, has been an enriching experience. And having female representation in sports organizations is an important step for younger girls and women to believe that they can be a part of the future. And with that being said, welcome to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports.
Hello everyone, I am Maureen Rosita Ojonga-Bopison. I am a social entrepreneur and a sports and development specialist. I currently serve as program director for the SEED project, and I am a proud mentee of the SIGA Young Females in Sports Mentoring Program. Now, tomorrow is the International Women's Day, and SIGA has put together a 3-day web summit to really discuss on key themes that involve the empowerment of women in sports. I want to just, put out this message and say that getting more women involved in the sports industry or young girls involved in sports cannot be done without the male counterparts, cannot be done without male mentors. I am an example of how much male counterparts and male mentors can really encourage a young woman to embrace her full potential and to encourage her to embrace opportunities around her environment. I would not be in the position I am today if I didn't have male mentors who encouraged me, who pushed me forward, and who really believe in me. So I believe that this web summit is an opportunity that SIGA is creating to bring stakeholders, from around the world to really discuss about the future of sports and also how to encourage and empower more young girls and women to get involved in sport programs. And I encourage each and every one of you to get registered for this Web Summit. It's not too late. And of course, we're looking forward to all the exciting panels and the exciting information we are going to get tomorrow. Thank you, SIGA.
Hi, my name's Stacey Copeland and I'm a proud SIGA champion and a member of the SIGA Committee for Diversity and Inclusion. I'm here today at my granddad's boxing gym where I started out in sport as a little kid. And from there, I went on to represent my country in 2 sports, both football and boxing, and ultimately won the Commonwealth title as a professional boxer. Sport has given me some incredible opportunities, going on a scholarship to America. I've been able to compete in Sweden, Brazil, Korea, Japan, Kazakhstan, and many, many more places. I've experienced different cultures, had incredible mentors, and learnt so many lessons that apply to the rest of my life and have allowed me to develop and flourish as a human being. Sport is one of the most powerful things on the planet for making a difference, and it really can show humanity at its very, very best. But in order to do that, we have to have equal access and opportunities for people, regardless of race, gender, sexuality, disability, class, background, whatever it might be. Please, please be part of that, because without kids like me having opportunities in places like this, we cannot reach our full potential, and you can be part of that. And you can be part of that by attending the SIGA Women in Leadership Conference from the 8th to the 10th of March. Please be there, please be part of this incredible movement. I stand on the shoulders of the people who came before, and now it's our turn and your turn together, collectively, to stand strong and make great opportunities for the next generation so that they can go on and do even better. So please join us and we'll see you there. Thanks.
Hello, good evening from Doha in Qatar. My name's Karen Webb-Moss, and I'm currently Senior Advisor to the leadership of the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy and the Football World Cup here in Qatar in 2022. I am a proud mentor of the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program, and a very, very warm welcome to the SIGA Summit on Female Mentorship in Sport. Despite the increase in women's competition, number of women's sports getting onto programs such as the Olympic program, higher engaged audiences, and even female domination in some sports, despite the number of women working in sport at a senior level, despite the few, yes, unfortunately just a few women that actually run governing bodies or organising committees, despite the efforts of many organisations, primarily organisations such as SIGA, women still face significant obstacles in the world of sport. So let's have a look at some of these obstacles that we face. Trying to sum them up is not easy, but I think it comes down to one, the heritage, traditions of how sport is run, the governance of sport, the longevity of some of the presidents and the leadership. And unfortunately, these have been men for many years, many in terms after terms of leadership. And the other issue is really culture. And I think that's prime, whether that's culture within the organizations that govern sport. It's also the culture of grassroots clubs to sports on and off the field of play. The culture of an organisation and the traditions that run it lead us to obstacles, barriers and issues such as equal access to roles, lack of female opportunities for females with roles, workplace flexibility issues, lack of equal pay, inequality when it comes to media or sponsors, when it comes to TV rights for some of women's sports. And particularly with the sponsorship, this leads to huge issues for women wanting to compete at an elite level regarding their preparation as well as their competition.
Good morning, good day, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Azera Chabangu, the Technical Director for the Association of National Olympic Committees of Africa, ANOCA for short. I am a mentor in the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program. I have been involved in the program since last December, and I must say that I have been enjoying the journey, and I thank NOMSA for recommending me for this program, because I now have a structured way in which I can give back to other young women in sport who are coming through the ranks, who are finding their feet, because I believe I have an obligation to give back because of other people who have actually given me the opportunity, who have recommended me for certain tasks or certain positions to be where I am today. I believe that the biggest challenge or obstacle in sport globally is other women. And there's some saying based on my own personal experiences where you will find that it's actually other women that will be blocking you or blocking opportunities or taking opportunities from you. Whereas you will find men will be more willing to actually assist you or to even recommend you for opportunities. So I believe that as women, as females in sport, if we can change that particular attitude, that particular mentality, we will go far.
Hi, this is Ebube Chukwu. I'm a sports management master student and an intern in Nigerian School Sports Federation. I am a mentee in Sports Integrity Global Alliance SIGA Female Mentorship Program. This mentorship program is very essential because it helps young sportswomen to brood and enhance their leadership quality and skills. The mentorship program involves mentor and mentee relationship, whereby the mentors who are well exposed and have been in the field of sports for a very long time help the mentees to actualize their potentials, because the mentees are not really much exposed, so that when we, the mentees, go out there, we'll be able to render quality services and also contribute immensely in the development of sports globally. I welcome all of us to this 2021 SIGA Web Summit, and I believe that you will enjoy your stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jackie Trainer and I'm the Anti-Doping Integrity Manager for British Rowing and Board Director for Sport Resolutions and UK Deaf Sport. I'm a mentee on SIGA Women's Global Mentorship Programme and I'm a mum of twin toddlers. Mentorship programs like SIGA Women are so important for supporting women for a career in the sports industry. Globally, the movement to grow diversity and inclusion has never had so much traction, but we can't simply click our fingers and assume that change is going to happen overnight. It needs to be nurtured before it can grow and flourish and become the new norm. Through a mentoring program, experiences can be shared and women can be supported in navigating the minefield which can be a male-dominated industry. Through my experience of SIGA Women, I have been introduced to some exceptional role models from around the world, from whom I've been able to learn and to ask the questions I've previously been afraid to ask. A mentoring program is an opportunity to reflect on yourself, to apply the guidance offered by your mentor, and to grow in confidence to become leaders and in turn become a mentor for the next generation of female leaders in sport. If you're a sports organisation, I encourage you to consider a mentoring programme. Champion your female colleagues and provide them with a platform to feel supported and valued.
Hi, I'm Jane Bond and I'm the Head of Brand, PR and Communications at the Hong Kong Rugby Union and also a mentee of the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Programme. So welcome to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports. In terms of mentorship, to me, being part of a program like SIGA has been super empowering and super beneficial. I've been amazed by the sort of caliber of mentors that have been available to chat to, some women really at the top of their sporting careers. We've chatted about stories, about how they developed their careers and really quite amazed to hear of the challenges they've been through and how they've overcome things, something that I imagine myself getting through at some point too. So learning those kind of new skills and how to approach things has been really, really beneficial for me. Loved it so far and would really recommend anyone starting out in their career or looking to develop their career further to find something similar or get involved in SIGA because it really is very beneficial. So thank you very much for all who have organised this.
Hi, my name is Inês and I'm the founder of Sports Embassy, a Portuguese social company that promotes career transition for professional athletes. And I would like to welcome you to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports. During 3 days, we will share ideas on the main topics that have been concerning women in general and how it relates to sports. How can sports organizations empower women in sports, being sports wooed, practiced, and run mainly by men? Sports teaches us that equity means we don't need equality, and I truly believe this. Why can't we all transfer this to our daily life? So a video today shared by Sally Pearson, where a girl throws a shirt to the crowd at a basketball game. If you haven't seen it, you should. Because, and as Sally says, throw like a girl, don't mind if I do. See you all on March the 8th. Hashtag SIGA Women.
Hi, my name's Angela Smith. I'm Chair of Stoke City Supporters Council and I'm a member of the SIGA Standing Committee on Gender, Race, Inclusion and Diversity. I'm also very proud to be a mentor for SIGA. Programs like SIGA Women empower girls and they help them to gain the confidence to determine their own story, and it also ensures that all girls get the opportunity to achieve their dreams, while showing there's no limit on what they can achieve.
My name is Alexandra Pinto Coelho. I'm 43 years old and I'm a sports law lawyer. My inspiration that led me to become a sports law attorney was my love for sport in general and in particular with football. I've always been involved in sport, whether as a player, spectator or volunteer, and it just made sense to aim to combine that with the day job. I'm from a small town in north of Portugal where there is a club with one of the largest associative masses. We breed football. Given my training law, I decided to combine sport with law, which led me to study sports law. After taking the college, I started writing sports law in a local sports newspaper and going up as a sports law lawyer. I am immensely proud to win in a world especially dominated by men, which makes me even more powerful. A piece of advice I give to all women, especially those in the world of sport: never give up being what you want to be. There is still prejudice against women in the world of sport, but social mentalities are changing and we women are the cause of this. Don't be put off by the male-dominated environment. Make your voice heard.
Hello everyone, my name is Ana Marques and I am currently the Vice President of the Portuguese Sports Law Association. I was born in a sports family and since I was young, the sport lived in me. When I decided to take a law degree, I quickly realized that I can choose. So I fought to win my place in this industry. It was not an easy journey, I have to say, but it worth it in every way. Being a woman in sport is a daily challenge, but sport helped me to discover the world and helped me to understand the importance of looking outside of the box and see opportunities when the most people see risks. And being a woman in sports is about taking risks. A risk to make the difference, the risk to break prejudice, and the risk to make history.
Hello, my name is Natasha Soares and I'm a Portuguese sports lawyer. In sports, gender equality is still a vision waiting to be fulfilled, and will only be possible when we will start seeing women in leadership roles across sports federations, professional leagues and football clubs. For women to reach these roles, there are two essential actions that should be practiced now and always. Firstly, we should not be indifferent towards situations that promote gender inequality. There should be a critical attitude and a zero-tolerance policy regarding inequality. Secondly, women in their various roles in society should continue to do exactly what we do every day, and that is giving our best. Moreover, I consider that it is important to keep in mind that where there is great power, there is great responsibility. The larger the role in question, our personal qualities should be even larger and should exceed our role's obligations. There is still a long road ahead to achieve gender equality in sports. but there is a Portuguese saying stating that o caminho faz-se caminhando, which means that the way is made by walking along it.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Murim. I'm a lawyer and also a member of Portuguese Sports Law Association. In his youth, my father was a football player. Well, not a professional one, but he passed to me his passion to sports. And it's important to reinforce that I'm an only child. During my high school, I studied in France, where I was a volleyball athlete, and I chose to study law during my college years, but also stayed focused in sport. It's not easy, it's right, especially when we work in a masculine world. Over the decades, we women, we have been fighting for our affirmation in a world that we say to be men. Our fight for equality is more and more in sight. We are creating our opportunities and gaining space, particularly in sport, as athletes, referees, or leaders. And because those who run for pleasure never tire. Happy Women's Day.
Hello, my name is Matilde Costa Dias. I am 31 years old and I am proudly a Portuguese sports lawyer. I had quite a traditional academic and professional path until I decided to take a risk and align my law degree with my passion for sports. It wasn't easy at the beginning, especially because this is mostly a men's world, but with great persistence, merit, and a huge support from my colleagues and friends, I ended up working abroad for a top sports law firm where I spent the last 5.5 years. A few months ago, I embarked on a new journey and joined the team of a Portuguese sports law firm whose founders bet and trusted in my professional capacities and where I feel that my work is constantly being valued. I am very grateful to be part of a new breed of women who combine quality in sports law, a strong academic and sporting background, and of course, the much needed human and feminine touch. If I had to give an advice to all women who wish to become a sports lawyer, I would say to never give up, ever. Happy Women's Day.
Hello everyone, my name is Márcia Sintra. I am a board member of Arena Hub in Brazil. Thanks for inviting me to be here today. Yes, women have been fighting fiercely for equality in sports over the decades. We all know that coverage of women's sports is not yet the same as men's, that women are usually paid differently from men, especially when it comes to prizes. But we cannot ignore the many advances in encouraging the girls to participate more and more in sports. And as you know, more involvement means more opportunities for titles and medals, and this is in itself an important accomplishment, I think. Hopefully the world of sports will continue to go into this direction, and sometime soon athletes will all be treated equally. At least this is our goal.
Hi, my name is Laura Sinatugli. I'm a dietitian and a current student at the Pan-African University Life and Health Sciences Institute, and I'm a mentee on the SIGA Women Global Mentorship Program with a wonderful mentor. So I say welcome to the SIGA Web Summit on Female Mentorship in Sports, and as we say in Ghana, Akwaba and Wezo. And one of the important reasons why such mentorship programs are essential is the fact that it provides us with real and concrete tools. Aside that, we get to learn from those that are currently in the industries, and they impact so much. I've been learning so much from my mentor. It's been an amazing journey so far. So once again, it's one of the reasons why it is really essential. We should have more and more of such mentorship programs being rolled out across the world. So once again, I say welcome to the SIGA Web Summit.